over the last few days, the words Black Lives Matter has inspired us. But how do we really make change happen in this country? We're joined now by USC law professor Jody Armour, who has some words of wisdom. And Jody, a couple of questions I have. How many more Black men have to die before there is change? And when this is all over, when this is not a headline, how do we come together and be truly unified?
Yeah, what is the price of justice? How many more Black men and women, I'm thinking of Breonna Taylor out in Louisville. I'm thinking of Sandra Bland. I'm thinking of Ahmaud Arbery in Georgia. There's a procession of hashtags that came out of the Black Lives Matter movement in the 2014, 15, 16 time frame. And it seems like the march goes on with hashtags. When will it end? How much are we going to have to go through this kind of racial injustice Groundhog Day that it seems that we go through? We wake up every morning and here we are again. And I didn't think anything was going to take COVID-19 out of the headlines, except a meteorite heading for the earth. And here we are, though. This is such a festering social problem of such long standing, so pervasive, so persistent that it's even taking COVID out of the headline. Although I think in an interesting way it's related. So how many more? I think, until we reckon with the underlying root problems, because it seems that we're figuring out that you can't solve this problem technologically like we thought at one time by body cams. You can't solve it by de-escalation training. You can't solve it with implicit bias training. The Minneapolis, Minnesota Police Department had all that stuff, and yet here we are again. I think we're more and more learning that what it's going to take is reckoning with the deep structural racism, and that has been a part of this country since its inception. So until we reckon with the fundamental reality that for much of America's history, Black lives have not mattered. They've been viewed as relatively disposable. We don't have the same empathy, sympathy, care, and concern for them. Think about Hurricane Katrina. After Hurricane Katrina struck Louisiana, the Ninth Ward, you had Black people standing on rooftops with water up to their neck. 1 day goes by, 2 days go by, 3 days go, 4 days go by, and the government's still not getting their act together. Sean Penn is rowing in there handing out fresh water because FEMA still can't get its act together. We don't have the panic of sympathy for those Blacks in distress in the same way we did after 9/11. After 9/11, when those planes ran into those buildings, there was a panic of empathy for those people. We got out and we just did it. We just helped them because we didn't otherize them. We felt their pain, we felt their suffering. And we don't seem to do that with Black America. Until we reckon with that, I don't think any of these Band-Aid solutions, any of these technological fixes or training innovations are going to make any difference.
So then how do you move with all of this happening? How do we move into this language of we're together, we care about each other? How do we get to the healing part?
What makes me hopeful right now? And, I know that, and with all this gloom, you may wonder, are there rays of hope and sunshine? My main hope is looking at those crowds, those marchers, and seeing how multicultural, multiracial they are. How many of us are saying, we have to do this together. And if Black lives start to matter, because the whole point of Black Lives Matter movement wasn't Black lives only matter, white lives don't matter, Asian lives don't matter. No, it wasn't that white lives don't matter, it's that Black lives matter also. Black lives matter too. Let's start to act like that. We are the faces at the bottom of the well. And once you start to lift Black lives, all lives are going to come up.
And what would your advice be? Like, right now, I'm on social media. I see a lot of my friends who aren't Black. They're, posting pictures. They're standing by the Black community. They want to be there and support, stamp out racism. And when this is all over, in my head, I'm like, okay, I need all of that energy to be turned into action. So I'm like, I need you to vote. I need you to bring that energy to work with you in the workplace. I need you to look at who your friends are, who your children's friends are. Like, what advice would you give for someone who's like, I want to help, I want to be part of change, What can I do to change?
Be a good ally. Embrace your allyship. You know, don't just, and maybe you want to go beyond being an ally and be an accomplice of justice, of promoting social justice. We have to become aware of our privilege and then use that to help those who are more marginalized. And a lot of our white brothers and sisters can do that.
Well, thank you so much, Jody. Always dropping gems of knowledge. It is so good to see you again.
It's great to be back with you anytime.
All right, thank you.